This is absolutely crazy. The amount of news that I have for you guys today, which is affecting the short-term perspective, and also one of the biggest, craziest pieces of information and things ever happening that I've probably seen this entire year, has just happened. So, without any further ado, this is Friday. Welcome. And let's jump straight into this. So we're saying, nice, healthy dump, which actually has led me, and again, I'm trying to be as transparent as I possibly humanly can. I hit a losing streak. I was trying to find a nice entry, and I just kept getting stopped at like partial stop losses here and then full stop losses here, which led me to kind of drain my overall performance a little bit. It still is looking okay. And again, I'm showing you this transparently. I think that it didn't update because I just hit 2 stop losses during the night. I was trying to find a perfect entry for what I'm going to show you here. I'm just being completely transparent, but still a good result for the last 60 days and just showing you guys everything as it is. So now let's jump straight into this because we're going to see a lot of interesting stuff here. We're seeing Bitcoin being sold off in the ETFs, and we're seeing Ethereum, even though it has subsided a bit, they're not accumulating as much, but they're not selling. So we're kind of seeing this transition of narrative to Ethereum, and there is a reason for that. I'm going to show it, like, it's all going to make sense today. And certainly, quick note as well, guys. You can see that I'm trading over in Bybit. And with my exclusive link down in the description of this video, you can claim up to $30,000 initial deposit bonuses. But the coolest thing is that you can actually claim access to my Discord channel, where I post all of my trades, and we trade together, and I post some news before I make a video. Because if you're part of my Discord, everything I'm going to mention here, you already know. So in this video today, and I've done it. We made it possible for Bybit traders who deposit at least $500. So you can use my links, deposit $500, and then click on the Discord link, which is down in the description of this video, and the bot will let you in. There's also this 10K trading volume requirement, but for some reason it's not working properly, so we even removed this. So you gotta have a $500 deposit, and then you need to maintain a $10,000 trading volume per month, but you can get in with only the deposit of $500. A link to all of it down in the description of this video. So, to the juice. First of all, there is a lot of bad short-term stuff, but it's short-term. So US GDP actually has soared to 3% in Q2. So the expectations here were absolutely crushed. So the market is doing fantastically well. The economy is like, wow, we're roaring, everything is great. But this is not so good because it actually means that Jerome Powell might not cut rates just because the economy is just too strong. So this is something that Trump is hating right now, absolutely hating. Then same thing goes for inflation. June PCE, which is the preferred gauge for inflation for Federal Reserve to make the decision on the interest rates, came in much higher than expected. So it came in at 2.6, the main one, versus 2.3 in May, and the consensus was 2.5, I believe. And the core PCE came in at 2.8, which it was 2.8, but it was expected to drop to 2.7. So this is no bueno. And I guess maybe probably because of these things, even though PCE came in later, Fed decided to hold the interest rates in the same place. And Donald Trump came out and said that he's super angry about Jerome Powell, so nothing new. But it's nothing new, really. That's what the market expected. However, what Jerome Powell said during the press conference, they said, we might not cut rates in September, might not even in October, might not even in November. So he's so freaking hawkish, it's pretty bad. It's bad because it's costing the US a lot of money, and it kind of is stagnating the economy a bit, even though GDP is rising. So it's not great. We need the interest rates down, so that's bad, and the market has taken it as a negative. And then Trump didn't help the situation. Right now I'm explaining why we have been kind of ticking down. Trump didn't help this entire situation because Powell also said that, guys, tariffs will affect inflation. So I'm not going to be reducing rates. And Trump just goes out and signs an executive order rising tariffs on Canada from 25% to 35%. So tariff war is back, even though he's striking some deals, but it still is this very powerful narrative of this fear of the trade war. And he also puts in imposing additional 40% tariff on imports from Brazil. So it's never ending. It's just happening to he's bashing the hell out of us right now, unfortunately, which is kind of creating this uncertainty, and the dollar is kind of strengthening on all of this in the background, which is also weakening crypto. But until you become bearish and you're like, okay, it's time to short everything, watch this video till the end. We're getting to the juice. Do that juice. This is it. The biggest juice of this video before I come to the chart and tell you where I want to be taking my trades in the next trades, and hopefully those will play out. SEC Chair Paul Atkins unveils Project Crypto, a commission-wide push to modernize securities rules and U.S. financial markets on chain. We already spoke about the Clarity Act, we already spoke about the Genius Act, and this is on top of it, the Project Crypto. So just in short, what it means, it talks about real-time on-chain security settlement. It also means that the doors to crypto in the United States are opening wider and wider. He also came out and said that most tokens are not securities. He also talked about tokenized public companies. So companies will legally be allowed to launch their own tokens instead of traditional shares and taking their activity on-chain. Wow. So cutting out intermediaries and creating a more efficient banking system. So basically moving the banking system and the money system and the monetary system, in other words, to blockchain. And it's mostly what? Exactly. Ethereum. That is the reason why the bet on Ethereum is so heavy right now. Hello, Solana fans. Anyway, so going forward, I know you people, those who love Solana hate me so much when but I love to trigger you guys because you love to comment afterwards and it boosts the video. I don't hate Solana. It's just that I have some Solana, but I've told you about it so many times. I don't hate it. It's just there is an objective fundamental winner and it's not Solana. But it's probably going to still do good because meme coins will still exist. So also decentralized broker dealers and automated market making pools. So and automated market makers in general. So basically what it's talking about here is that, for example, Evadex or exchanges that are decentralized in nature and actually offer on-chain services will become legal and will be able to receive a license. I should be moving to the United States of America, and we should be moving the Evadex office to the United States as well, because this is a huge opportunity. They basically, the DeFi rule, we don't need to submit user data to the IRS. We can get a license, and we're decentralized, non-KYC and all these, it's insane, and it's legal. Wow. So this is the biggest shit I've ever seen in crypto this year, this project here. And certainly regulatory clarity for decentralized autonomous organizations, which probably down the road Evadex will be too, will get an official legal wrapper and compliance path. So everything crypto, framework, legal, straight up, United States. Wow, and they also talked about NFTs and literally everything. So everything that the Trump spoke about, it's all happening. So down the road, this will just take something like Ethereum to the Valhalla. That's why these big players, and it's going to be the future of finance, decentralized finance, and taking the big portion of the market from centralized finance, which is slow, outdated, and corrupt, and take it to something that is absolutely transparent, actually a lot more efficient, and a lot more fair, which is decentralized finance. So for this reason, my interest here right now for the trades, we are cooling down, and I told you before that we kind of have to cool down. We got to have some liquidations. We've had some liquidations. There are two levels that interest me the most. I was trying to find an entry into the long because I still believe long term that we're going to have a nice pump going forward. But despite it being July and August, the level on Ethereum, 3,400 still most important. But what I'm looking at is like 3,500. 3,500 for me to attempt another long would be pretty nice. So also for Bitcoin, we're kind of creating this BART pattern here, but it's not as powerful. Like my worst case scenario for the time being, until something changes, probably would be 112,000. So just retesting of the previous all-time high. And this is the area of interest in general for longs. So we came to this area, we kind of squeezed a lot of liquidity out of here. So I think that this, again, not financial advice, obviously, this area for building a sport portfolio or actually getting into longs in general with a target of 125, 130 possibly, and just kind of this momentum could be sustained, but use proper risk and money management. And certainly join my Discord if you want to see my trades as well, because even though I don't have a big success ratio in trades, but I manage risk very tightly, and sometimes I pay a price for it, but nonetheless. So this is what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at Ethereum down to 3,000. I could be wrong, but let's see. And have a nice weekend. Ciao.